update. This morning I made a video for you, well, trying to figure out what I was going to do for the day. So my list was something like cut down some trees that were in the way so I could see my pond from the bedroom window, and tie up the tarps on the deer, the basketry harvest teepee, and take some of those posts that were laying around the garden on the ground that hadn't been planted yet to hold teacups. I was gonna take them down to the pond and lay them up like my fingers across a low-lying area on the pond, beside the pond. And I was going to empty the car because we're going to go away and take somebody along, so we needed the room. And I think that was my list this morning. Oh, and then I had to teach a genealogy lesson on Sunday. Okay, so those are my plans. So what I actually did, the plans are not nearly the same as what actually happens. I asked Willem to empty the car because it was just a matter of going back and forth and bringing everything in. So he did that. And meanwhile, I cleaned the bedroom. I didn't clean it, but I tidied it up and got rid of stuff. There were a lot of things beside there was just a pile of things that were on the floor, and there was a big, huge bin. And I guess when I had renovated the bathroom, I had taken all the things that were in the bathroom vanity and tossed them in there. Anyway, and there were more things in the new vanity now. Sometimes when I go certain places, I'll find, like ibuprofen on sale, and so I'll buy a lot of it. So I did put them all out of the vanity and into the bin, and Willem took it all and put it in the greenhouse for me. So now I don't have that bin sitting there. He cleaned all that area up. It's very nice. And I started to clean up the bookcases above that area. They had just gotten stuff. You know how things accumulate. You put them somewhere, and that's where they ended up. So I organized, put them right, put the books in the right bookshelves where they're supposed to go. And then I was done with that, and I had another look at my pottery that came out of the kiln last night. It's all overcooked. Still okay, but cone 7 is not the same as cone 6. If it's good to cone 6, it's not good to cone 7. It'll ruin if it gets too hot. Better to have it underdone than overdone, I think. And then I went down to the pond. Oh, I gathered up a lot of logs, and I got my hammer and some nails, and I got my saw, and I went down to the pond. I drove around to the other end to Willem's garden, and I carried all those logs. I used the ones that were too short, that if you plant them in the ground, they're going to be too short to stick out properly. So I took them all down, and I lined them up like that on the ground where there's a bit of a dip along the pond. Every time I walked through there, I'd get wet feet, and so I stopped walking that way, which is a shame because it's a nice place to walk. I want to be able to go all the way around the pond. So I put those logs there. There was about 20 of them, I guess, I put on there. And then I took my hammer and nails, and I hammered the baffles, the big fabric. It was coming loose. Instead of being nice and straight, it was starting to droop. And so I nailed it up again back to where it should be. I just nailed it around the post more. And then I stopped by the teepee and I pulled the fabric back down over it, but I didn't tie it on yet. I was running low on time. Got changed and I went to my appointment to get my prescription refilled. See, that's what threw me off. So I phoned to get an appointment, and so then I threw off my morning routine. Oh, and while I was down there at the pond, that's right, while I was down there at the pond, I went and I cut all the way around the tree. It's about this big around. And I did not wish to cut all the way through it. So I just cut around it so it'll die, and that'll make it easier to cut through. And it might fall down. And then I pulled some vines out of another tree to see if that would help clear the view, because the view is kind of obscured by lots of little branches. But it's getting much better. It's almost clear. Very nice. Okay, and so that's what I did. So I did the posts into that spot. I did the branch, and I did the teepee a little bit. But I didn't get to the other teepee and put the plastic around it. I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that when I get home. I'm off to get a refill of my prescription, and then have to mail my my letter to my mother and go to the bank. Oh, and I've got to go to Canadian Tire because the container, the vacuum cleaner inside has this little bag that sits there, but it's got a hole in it, so now it's no good. So I got to get a new bag for the inside of that. It's a shop bag. I like a shop bag because it holds a ton of junk. I don't have to, and it doesn't have to be emptied, the bags, all the time. And it's got good suction power. Anyway, so there you have it. That's what I did so far. So I made my plan this morning and then I carried it out.